I'm a filmmaker, screenwriter, and pretty much anything else you can think that goes along with that. I'm lucky enough to have a nice home for my wife and child. We have a nice-ish house with a decent-sized building in the back I've made into a nice studio. It's mostly just a nice place to get some writing or editing done. The town we live in is nice, really backwoods, but was voted the safest city in the state last year, so that counts for something. I guess it's easy to get that kind of title when it's nothing but woods and a population of about 5,000 people. It's on the outskirts of a major city, about 45 minutes out in mostly wooded areas. One night I was in my studio filming a comedy sketch infomercial about a home security system from a company called Home Alone Security, where the security package includes everything Kevin McAllister used in the movie Home Alone, when I heard an extremely loud bang on the side of the building. It was so loud that I heard it through my horribly loud Billy Mays impression. Loud enough that it instantly gave me that feeling of pure dread, like when something happens that you know should never happen. I say this because we have no family around us, nor do I have any friends to speak of due to recently moving for work. I knew it wasn't my wife because the building is a good way away from the house hugging up against the wood line, and she needed to be inside with our newborn baby. To be honest, it's more on the woods part of the wood line due to the growth wrapping around it. I like the seclusion. It's far enough away from the house that I don't pick up any cries from the baby, but now all I could think about was how those two things made this situation worse. I stood there with paint cans attached to strings, blinded by the soft boxes, trying to figure out what the fuck that was. It could be an animal, I thought, but one hard intentional sounding hit and run. I doubt it. Plus, I would have heard it running off due to the leaves and thin sheet metal walls. Maybe something fell from the trees. The only thing wrong with that is I knew 100% that it came from the side and not the roof. The first thing that comes to mind when crazy shit starts happening is my family. No matter what hit the side of the building, I was pretty positive it was still standing in the same exact spot, so without thinking, my fight mode kicked in, and I decided to just fling the door open and run a straight line to the house as fast as I could, slamming the door behind me. I didn't look back. Whatever it was, if it was going to catch me, it was going to fucking catch me. I'd rather not see it coming. I made it up the steps and in the door where my wife was in the kitchen breastfeeding, and I scared her so bad her nipple popped out of my son's mouth. "What the fuck are you doing? You scared me," she snapped. While struggling to catch my breath, I said, "A bang on the building, a monster or some shit." She just looked at me in disgust, then relatched our baby. I finally compose and explain myself, and she pretty much blows it off as something falling from the trees. So a fucking acorn just ever so perfectly rolls down the tree branches like those balls on the elaborate mousetrap type bullshit YouTube videos and bashed up against the side of the building? I asked. She says whatever, kisses me, and tells me to stop being a pussy. I decided to stop being a pussy and head back out to finish the ridiculous overdramatic infomercial when I noticed the door to my building is open. I know for a fact that I slammed it shut. There's no way it didn't shut, because it's never been able to shut until last week when I fixed it so it would shut. But now it's not shut. Maybe it just didn't shut. I go in seeing nothing out of sorts, so I get my shot back up and realize the battery on my Canon is dead. What the fuck? I guess I left it running. Of course I left it running because I was too busy running, I thought. Not having a charged battery, I just shut down for the night. I turned off my lights, put up the camera, and went inside to watch a few episodes of Grey's Anatomy before bed. About an hour later, I woke up to the sound of whistling outside my window. I could tell it was trailing off down the side of the house to the front yard. I grab my pistol and run outside to see nothing, but I still hear the whistle. It's gotta be 300 yards down the pitch black street. I decided it's best to just call the cops and take a look around the house. They said they were on their way, so I go back out to take a look around the house, and sure enough, the door on my building is open again. Fuck, I whispered to myself. I keep most of my equipment in the house, but I do keep one DSLR out there so I don't have to lug it back and forth. I'm surprised to find my camera and equipment untouched. The only thing that had been messed with was my mini fridge. The door was open and most of the snacks, including my bottle of Evan Williams, is gone. Soon the cops show up and tell us something that sent chills down our spines. Apparently there was a prison escape at the penitentiary 2 towns over. Someone from the psych ward. They assured us he wasn't violent and asked if anything was missing. I told them about my mini fridge and they took a look around the property, made a report, and left. What more could they do? The next morning I went back out to my building to get some editing done. That's when I find it. Me, the bang, my escape out of frame, and him. 3 minutes and 26 seconds after I leave, he comes into frame. A tall, lanky man with long, scraggly hair wearing what looks like a woman's nightgown, holding the most terrifying old and rusty machete I've ever seen. He stands there, looking into the camera, then walks out of frame. I can tell by his footsteps that he did not exit my building. It records for about another 8 minutes and cuts off. I sit there stunned, trying to process the amount of fucked up that is this situation. It was at that moment I remembered the 2-foot gap between the green screen and the wall. Had he been behind there the whole time? I pondered as chill pierced my bones. Apparently he had got the gown from an elderly couple's house near the prison, where he also got the machete. They happened to be not home at the time, so they were fine. I'm not exactly sure what his plan was, but I don't want to think about what would have happened if I decided to stay and film some more. Or worse, if he made his original target my house.